So in this video, I want to explain a little bit how advanced configuration works. You can see there is some configuration in here, which doesn't really do anything. It's more like a placeholder for you to see what's available. Basically, Repeato allows you to add some custom scripts for certain events that are triggered during the batch run or during a test run. Maybe we just go through them one by one. It's also pretty well explained here. So here, for example, you can register code that is executed each time a step is completed. This is called for every step in every test executed during a batch run. So you could, for example, measure the time between steps executed or do some other kinds of statistics. Then we have another callback, which is called when a screenshot is saved. So you could, for example, rename a screenshot or copy them to some external directory. We will come to some examples later on, what you can do with it. This callback is called when a batch is started, so at the very beginning. It's also possible to start batches after each other automatically. So this one would be called each time a batch is started, not just at the very beginning. This one is called when a test fails. You could have some, I don't know, maybe post a Slack message instantly when a test fails, for example, or add a line to a log file, something like that. Same here for succeeding tests. This is called each time a test succeeds. And you know, for all those callbacks, you also get some additional information. Like here, you can access all the properties of the test run object, for example, like how long it took to execute the test and so on. This is a good way to also inspect what's available. You know, you just write test run and you press dot, and then you get available methods and properties of this object. And you can deal with them however you like. Another one is batch completed, which fires at the very end of the batch. Those are like events that are triggered by Repeato. So let's look at some of the examples. This can be a good starting point if you want to find out more and experiment. Yeah, they're just, you know, select one of them, and some of them are also documented. So for example, what do we have here? When a batch run finished, create a report automatically. You know, usually you have to press an extra button to create the batch report. If you want this to happen automatically, you can just add those 3 lines. And basically what it does, you know, this function is executed as soon as the batch completes. So as soon as the batch completes, it tells the batch runner to create the batch run export. Quite straightforward. Then here, when a batch failed, run the failed test again. So run the failed tests again, right? So, you know, here in batch runner, we have the option of running all the tests or running only the failed tests. But if you want to run the failed tests automatically once more after running all the tests, this is a great way to do it. So let's go back. That was the report. Failed tests again. So here, when the batch run completed, and it would find that this was successful property was false, and it would also, since the retry counter would still be 0, it would try once more to run all the tests. It also would log something describing what it does to make it more clear if something failed. In this case, you know, this is not mandatory, but it makes maybe things more clear when you run them. You can always add log statements. It's a great way to see what's going on. We increase the retry counter, so we keep track of how many times this was run already, and we tell the batch runner to execute only the failed tests. This is probably the most important line here. And then we just start it again. You know, next time it's going to fail, it will again check this flag. It's going to be false. It's going to increase the retry counter again and restart the batch runner, and so on till the end, and then we set the retry counter. Yeah, but basically you could rerun the batch as many times as you want. So next example, when a batch run finished, notify me via text-to-speech. So here we are using the text-to-speech functionality of Repeato. It's pretty cool. We just tell Repeato to say batch run finished, and then also tell us how many tests succeeded and the total count of tests that were supposed to be executed. maybe we just try this. So we have a very short batch here. It's just one test long. It's gonna be quick to execute. Let's run it.
Batch run finished. 1 out of 1 tests were executed successfully.
Yeah, this could be used as a notification. Maybe you're doing some work on the side and you want to be notified as soon as Repeato finished its batch run. Okay, let's check another example. Log the duration of each step executed and display it in the report. So here we create the timestamp when the batch starts, and then on each step executed, when the step is completed, we calculate the duration between now and the last time step. And then we create a message string, which we then append to the step result message. So this might look a little bit complicated at first, but let's see what it does. I apply this, and then I run this very short batch. So this finished. We can already see here, when I press here, I can see already that there is some additional information, and that's basically what we configured before. Step took 207 milliseconds to execute. But it's not just in here, it's also gonna show up in the report. So when you scroll down, you're gonna see that all of the steps here, they have this additional message we logged. Basically the milliseconds it took to execute a certain step. So another example, wait for 2 seconds after each step executed. Very short one. We just add a wait sleep after each step completed. This can be useful if you want to observe what's going on and you want to slow down Repeato just for debugging purposes maybe. There is another one about tagging. I'm gonna explain a little bit more about this tagging feature in a dedicated video, so I'm gonna skip this one for now. This one is interesting too. Show device log in the test run report. So Repeato is streaming the device log to a file by default, but maybe we wanna also show the device messages inside of our report, right? So let's just take a quick look at what it does. We save the report. As you can see, each of the steps contains a section of printed log output from the device. This can be very useful for developers who might have to debug a certain issue, right? And since the log is split up in a way that only the relevant part is visible along with each step, it's very easy to debug what's going on for the developer. So this can be very useful. So these were just a couple of simple examples of what you can do with advanced configuration. There are endless of possibilities. You can write files, upload stuff, trigger certain actions as soon as a batch completed, and all of those configurations, they apply also when you run your tests in the cloud. If you have a certain requirement and you're not able to make it work with advanced configuration, we're happy to take a look. Just reach out and we try to implement it with you.